Good morning to all of you. Today I'll be discussing about brachial plexus. Brachium means the arm. Plexus means group of nerve fibers which branch or get anastomosed or join together to form bunch of nerve fibers. So brachial plexus forms different nerves which go and supply the upper limb and part of the chest wall. So part of this, the yellow colored things are the nerves which go and supply the upper limb. This is the arm and this is the thorax. This is pectoralis major muscle, pectoralis minor muscle, and this is the arm with the deltoid muscle. So this, the one which is colored in red, that is the axillary artery, which continues as brachial artery, and this one is the vein, the axillary vein with the axillary artery. So this together we call it as the brachial plexus. So next we'll go to the different. So this is a schematic diagram of brachial plexus, and this is the clavicle which has been defected. Part of the clavicle has been removed. So this is really how the brachial plexus is seen. So this is the spinal cord with the spinal nerves emerging out of it. So this is C5, C6, C7, C8 and T1. These are the cervical and the first thoracic roots of brachial plexus. So this whole part forms the root of brachial plexus. The one that are yellow in color, this is spinal cord and this is the spinal roots. So the brachial plexus has different parts. That is number one, it has the roots, it has the trunks, divisions, cords. These are the different parts of the brachial plexus. We'll go again. These are the roots. After the roots, it is the trunks. That is upper trunk, middle trunk, lower trunk of brachial plexus. Trunks later divides into divisions, anterior division and post. Each trunk will divide into two divisions. All the posterior divisions of all the three trunks, that is upper, middle and lower trunk, join together to form cord, called as posterior cord. Then from each cord, so we got the branches of the nerves, proper. Now we will study first about the roots of brachial plexus. They are constituted by anterior primary rami of spinal nerve C5 to C8 and also T1, with occasional contribution from T2 or by anterior primary rami of C4. So when it is, the origin of plexus may shift one segment either upwards or downwards, resulting in a prefixed or a post-fixed plexus respectively. In a prefixed plexus, the contribution by C4 will be large and C5 is present. In a post-fixed plexus, the contribution from T1 is large and T2 is also present. The roots join to form the trunks as follows. So you got the C5 and C6 join together to form the upper trunk. The middle trunk is formed by the root C7. The C8 and T1 join together to form the lower trunk, that is the orange color. The one which is in cement color or grey color, it is the roots upper, and this is the which form the trunk. C5 and C6 join together to form the upper trunk. C7 remains as it is. C8 and T1 joins together to form the lower trunk. Next we'll see what are the divisions of the trunk. So each trunk, that is upper, middle and lower trunk, divides into ventral and dorsal division. or anterior and posterior divisions. These divisions join together to form what is called as the chords. You have got three chords: the lateral chord, the posterior chord, medial chord. The lateral chord is formed by the ventral union of ventral division of upper and middle trunk. So that together to form the lateral chord. The medial chord is formed by ventral division of the lower trunk, and the posterior chord is formed by the union of dorsal division of all the three trunks. These are named according to the relation of chord to second part of axillary artery. So you got lateral chord, medial chord, and posterior chord. Lateral, medial, and posterior chord. Next we will see sympathetic innervation. They are derived from spinal segment T2 to T6. Most of the vasoconstrictor fibers supplying arteries emerge from T2 segment of the spinal cord. To be more clearer, you can see this diagram. Brachial plexus consists of roots. It has got trunks. It has got divisions. It has got cords. So we will see what are the roots: C5, C6, C7, C8 and T1. These are the roots of brachial plexus. Now we will see what are the branches of brachial plexus. From the roots we will get number 1, now to serratus anterior. You can see in dark yellow color, now to serratus anterior, also called as long thoracic nerve. It is also called as long thoracic nerve, number 1. Number 2, now to rhomboidus major muscle, now to rhomboidus muscle, that is dorsal scapular nerve. What is this? Dorsal scapular nerve. This supplies a muscle that is called as rhomboidus major and minor, which is responsible for retraction of shoulder girdle, and it gives a branch to levator scapulae. This nerve to serratus anterior or long thoracic nerve supplies serratus anterior. It is one of the key muscle for overhead abduction of shoulder joint. Then branches to longus colli and scalene muscles. Branch to phrenic nerve. So these are the branches from root of brachial plexus. We got 3 branches. Number 1, long thoracic nerve. Number 2, dorsal scapular nerve. Number 3, branches to longus colli and scalene muscles. So these were the branches from the root. Now we'll see the trunk, branches from the trunk of brachial plexus. We got 2 branches. Number 1, suprascapular nerve, which supplies supraspinatus and infraspinatus. This one, what is this? Suprascapular nerve. And number 2, nerve to subclavius. Nerve to subclavius. It supplies subclavius muscle. It may also give a root to phrenic nerve. So these are the 2 branches from the trunk of brachial plexus. I'll repeat. Number 1, suprascapular nerve, which supplies supraspinatus and infraspinatus. Number 2, nerve to subclavius. It supplies subclavius muscle. So these are the branches from the trunk. Next we will see what are the branches from cord. We have got 3 cords. Lateral cord, we got 3 branches. Lateral pectoral nerve. Number 2, musculocutaneous nerve. Number 3, lateral root of median nerve. So these are the 3 branches from lateral cord. This musculocutaneous nerve, lateral pectoral nerve, and the lateral root of median nerve. So these are the 3 branches: musculocutaneous, lateral root of median nerve, and lateral pectoral nerve. 3 branches from lateral cord. Next we will see what are the branches from medial cord. So you got medial pectoral nerve. Number 2, medial cutaneous nerve of arm, median cutaneous nerve of forearm, ulnar nerve, medial root of median nerve. So these are the branches from medial cord of brachial plexus. Next, last one is posterior cord. In the posterior cord you got upper subscapular. Number 2, now it is the latissimus dorsi. Number 3, lower subscapular. Number 3, axillary and radial nerve. These are the branches from posterior cord of brachial plexus. Now we'll see what is the blood supply of brachial plexus. Brachial plexus is supplied by vertebral artery, thyrocervical trunk with its branches, suprascapular and transverse cervical arteries. These are the lifeline of this important plexus. Next we'll go to the different, same thing what we had discussed. So dorsal scapular nerve, you can see here, dorsal scapular nerve, correct? It goes and supplies the rhomboidus minor and major. Rhomboidus minor and major. So this is rhomboidus minor and this full part is rhomboidus major. So that is supplied by dorsal scapular nerve. Next you can see in this diagram the long thoracic nerve. Long thoracic nerve which goes and supply now serratus anterior muscle, which is the key muscles for overhead abduction. Next, now to subclavius. So this is clavicle. Just below that is the subclavius muscle. So this is now to subclavius, which goes and supply the subclavius muscle. Next is suprascapular, which supplies, see this is suprascapular now, which supplies supraspinatus. This is on the posterior aspect, supraspinatus, and one more muscle here just below the spine of scapula, that is infraspinatus. This is from branches from trunk of brachial plexus. Next if you go see, yes, the branches from lateral cord, that is lateral pectoral nerve. So in this diagram you can see the lateral pectoral nerve which goes and supply the pectoralis major and minor muscle. Musculocutaneous nerve. So you can see this diagram. So here it is the musculocutaneous nerve. It supplies front of arm, that is coracobrachialis, short head of biceps, femoris and long head, and brachialis. All the muscles of anterior compartment of arm are supplied by musculocutaneous nerve. Next to that you got as lateral root of median nerve. You can see in this clearly. So that is the median nerve having two roots. One is lateral, the other one is median division of median nerve, which goes and supplies chief nerve of front of forearm and the muscle of, and it supplies the muscles of thenar eminence. Next branches from medial cord, that is median root of median nerve. Next, note upper subscapular and upper subscapular nerve. So it is from the posterior cord of brachial plexus. You can see clearly here subscapular nerve which supplies subscapularis muscle, that is upper subscapular nerve. Thoraco or thoracodorsal nerve. What is the other thing? Thoracodorsal nerve. It goes and supplies the, or here you can see the thoracodorsal nerve in this. Lower subscapularis, upper is over, low, it helps in up supplying subscapularis muscle. It also supplies teres major, you can see in this teres major muscle, it also supplies this. Axillary nerve is responsible, next is axillary nerve, which supplies the important muscle of the shoulder, that is deltoid. Small part of it also supplies teres minor muscle. The last muscle, that is radial nerve, thickest branch of brachial plexus is radial nerve. It supplies all 3 heads of triceps. It also supplies 12 muscles of back of forearm. So next we'll go for applied anatomy of brachial plexus. Number 1, Erb's paralysis. Number 1 is Erb's paralysis. The site of injury is upper trunk. It occurs due to undue separation of head from shoulder joint. The site of injury is upper trunk of biceps brachial plexus. How it occurs? Undue separation of head from the shoulders. Muscles affected are deltoid, biceps, brachialis, brachioradialis. Deformity is policeman's tip deformity. In this diagram you can see fall on an outstretched shoulder or during this thing. Injury to brachial plexus leading to excessive increase in the angle between head and shoulder, or during traction of arm and hyperextension of the neck. So this is the exact location of injury. What is the name of that point? Erb's point. Erb's point injury causes Erb's paralysis. What is the deformity? Policeman's tip deformity. This is how it appears. So this is about one applied anatomy. We'll go to second one, that is Klumpke's paralysis. The site of injury is the lower trunk of brachial plexus. Cause of injury, undue abduction of arm, as in clutching something with the hand after fall from a height. Nerve roots involved are T1 and partly C8. Muscles paralyzed are intrinsic muscles of hand. Deformity is complete claw hand. What is the deformity seen? Complete claw hand. The other important applied anatomy is injury to serratus anterior. Sudden pressure or carrying heavy load on the shoulders causes winging of scapula. In this what happens? Overhead abduction beyond 90 degree will not be possible. So this finishes brachial plexus. Thank you.